Okay, so there was one question from Miss Manisha because we've already started talking about assessment. And Manisha, would you like to tell your questions here to the group?
Yeah, hi everyone. I would like to know how to conduct criteria B and C under exam conditions across MYP.
So it is not just MYP 4 and 5. So Kalyani is also here. We are 6 of us. So usually if you're going to give MYP type of question paper to MYP 1, 2, 3, okay, then the practice that I have undertaken in my previous schools is that giving them a feel of sitting under exam conditions. Okay, the purpose is not to give them all 4 criteria, all strands. That is not the purpose. Okay, the purpose is for them to sit in an examination condition and see if they are able to type and solve a paper. Okay, in given amount of time. That is the practice. That is the main purpose. Not the purpose of sitting them for all 4 criteria and e-assessment type of exam. No, this is just a practice, and whatever grades they are going to get in the e-assessment is e-assessment type of paper is one of the assessments that is taken amongst the different assessments that you take during the year. Okay. All right. So I'm
Yeah.
not looking at focusing on all criteria, all strands. Yeah. Also, it is not feasible to give them a 2 hour paper at that in grade 6. And when they are coming, you may want to give one test in grade 6 December and one test in grade 6 May. Right, Manisha? That is the
Yes,
case?
ma'am. Actually,
Yeah.
every phase we are taking up two criterias, ma'am,
Huh.
as per the unit.
Yeah. So what we started off with our MYP 1, 2, 3 in my previous school is that we told the teachers to decide which criteria would they want to assess. And at that time, the language acquisition was an e-portfolio. Okay. So I'm looking at only students sitting for 1 hour or 1.5 hour paper, similar to e-assessment. And the teacher is able to choose which criteria they want to assess on. Okay, so I'm not saying all 4 criteria. I'm saying whichever criteria fits for the units that you have taught. Okay, and then you look at the strands. Now, if I'm going to look at criteria A, all strands you can easily assess
Yes.
different levels. Okay, but criteria B and C, maybe you could give a design experiment. Okay, if it is criteria B that you are focusing on, then maybe a question where you can say that, okay, these are the materials that are there, and we are looking at motion and speed. So would you be able to design an experiment looking at these materials? Okay, create a research question, or what you can do is give the research question and then ask them what would be the hypothesis, what would be the variables, and write the procedure. Okay, with the safety thing, write the procedure. You could give that way. Yeah. And for criteria C, what you can do is you can give data. Okay,
Yes.
give raw data, ask them to process data, and you say that this was the hypothesis and the students are looking at this. Now, these are the results that are there. You interpret the results, okay, give the results and do the evaluation. Is there any other method by which they can do? Okay, will there be any errors? Will there be human errors? Will there be errors due to using a particular instrument? Yeah, so those kind of questions you could give for criteria C. And for criteria D, you can give some, like how you get reading articles in IDU. You get some resources, right, to read, and then questions are given on those resources in the IDU assessment. So similarly, maybe you could give how scientific issues, some paragraphs or something to read, and then ask their opinion, or ask them which factors do you think. So no need of taking all the strands also of criteria D. Pick whatever strands you want to, and assess them on that.
Okay, ma'am.
The
Thank you, ma'am.
main purpose of that assessment that you're going to do as an exam would be to give them the feel of sitting in a timed examination. Okay, because there are some students, if they do not sit for exams, they are scared, they get nervous, they don't know what to do. So what you're doing by giving this is that giving them a feel of how a student will be able to cope in an exam condition, and also how they can do it on screen. Yeah, so the purpose should be different. It should not be like, okay, I'm preparing them for e-assessment, they have to give e-assessment type of paper. This is for practice.
Okay.
Yeah, any other question? Nala, you had a couple of questions.
Yeah, I don't know if my question is very valid or anything, but I always used to think when we make students make posters, so how should we assess them based on what criterion? Okay, if we think about the knowledge and understanding part, we can say that if their knowledge about the poster is good, criterion A.
Mm.
But any other, is it suitable for criterion D, or is it
See,
not suitable?
if you give something for poster, what I had done is for I have taught grade 6 organ systems. Okay, and the main task was that they had to learn about circulatory system, respiratory system, digestive system, excretory system. Okay, and then talk about, they worked in groups, they made the presentation, and we were going to talk about which organ is, what are the organs, what are the functions of each organ, and what is the function of the system as a whole. Okay, and then we also talked about organ donation. So this was going to be service as learning unit. It was also going to be an IDU, and it was also going to be a science unit. Okay, all three. I was trying to kill three birds with one stone. So with the IDU, I worked with the English teacher, because organ donation, we wanted to make a pledge or persuade people to sign a pledge that they would donate their organs. Okay, and we were going to talk, the grade 6 were going to talk in different languages, Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati, with our support staff in a presentation in an assembly, and they were also going to talk to the senior students in English. So they had to create presentation, persuade people. So they were going to learn persuasive writing in English, pathos, logos, and whatever. Okay, that was the English part of it. What they had to write about was the science part of it. The content was for science, okay, persuading people to pledge your organ for donation. And as a part of criteria D, I had asked them create a poster of an organ for donation. So, organ wanted poster. Okay. So now that poster was a part of the assessment, the whole assessment. It was not the only product of the assessment task. Yeah, they would use that poster in order to communicate, or in order to tell the people about, persuading them why they should donate organ, or why this organ is important, and what all diseases are connected to this organ. Yeah, another thing that I had done with grade 7, I think it was about food. No, sorry, with grade 6, I did on cell. Okay, different types of cell, plant cell, animal cell, the contents of the cell, okay, the chloroplast and all other organelles, nucleus and all that. And I told them, you create an edible cell. Okay, so they took pizza base and they cut it as a rectangle to make plant cell, and they said that, okay, they put ketchup, and they said that this is the membrane. Okay, and I told them, think about what food substances you can use, in order to create the different parts of the cell. So for nucleus and nucleolus, they took Ferrero Rocher, because if you cut, there is inside thing, right? So then they said a nucleus. So I had given them a task sheet where I had put name of organelles, okay, the food that I have used to resemble that particular organelle, and what was the function of the organelle, and why did you use that particular food. Okay, and along with that, I also gave them, this was for criteria A. Usually when you look, you say criteria A means a test, but this was a task sheet that they had to do. I created a rubric, I called teachers and I told them to grade. So I also didn't have to grade. But there were questions along with that edible cell thing that they had to do. Like a few questions would be like, uh, um, there has to be many energy giving. If it is a muscle cell, then what do you think? Which organelle should be there in that muscle cell? So they have to think about mitochondria, because you need to get energy, right? In the muscles, you need to generate energy for the muscles to work. So muscle cells will have more mitochondria. So those type of questions where they really have to think. Okay, those questions were also there as a part of the project work. And then I had given them a raft activity. I've said, you know about raft? Role, audience, format, topic. So I
Yes.
said that um, there are many different specialized cells. They want to stand for election to become president. So they have to write a speech, okay, to the different cells of the body, why they should select whatever they are as a president, and you tell the structure and the function. So instead of just saying that this is red blood cell, this is palisade cell, this is muscle cell, this is root hair cell, what is the structure, what is the function, why is this particular shape, instead of giving all those question answers, I said that select one cell and then you imagine that you are writing a speech and you convince others why you have to be selected as the president. So that task I had given to students. So you can give poster, but then again, then it will restrict your assessment for strength. So if you want to give a poster or anything, do it as a formative assessment. Don't give it as a summative
Right.
assessment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will share the task with you all in the group, the edible cell task that I had created. I don't teach students, so all my assessment and things are just lying in my drive. I'm happy to share it with teachers. Okay, any other question? So also, instead of doing too many formatives and just assessing a few strands for task, now, I always feel that if you can have the whole criteria and you give a good summative task which can address all the strands of that particular criteria, then you will have to assess only 2 assessments, right? For criteria D, you don't have to give too many research work. So think about, and also when you are planning your units during the year. Now it depends upon your assessment policy. If you look at the subject guide says that for the MYP requirement of the subject, you have to assess every strand twice. Okay, but I don't know what your policies are in your school. What is your policy? Do you give a grade out of 7, MYP achievement level out of 7 for every semester in your schools? How is it? How do you grade? How does your assessment record sheet look like?
May I?
Yeah,
Manisha?
Manisha.
Actually, we give them achievement level during each phase, and by the end of the year, then we see actually what is the current scenario of the student, and then we take it out of 7.
Okay, so I will show you how I used to do. Okay. So what I'll do is I will just assessment report. Okay. Now I will show you a record sheet of this is earlier when there were 6 assessment criteria. 2012. Okay. Now this is how the criteria grade sheet looks like. Okay. So that time there used to be 6 criteria. Now there are 4. Okay. So suppose if you say this is criteria A, criteria B, criteria C, and criteria D. These are the tasks. Okay, these are the tasks. So I have taken 2 tasks for each criteria, and then I have done an overall grade, best fit grade. Okay, and then this best fit grade will then create your final grades, right? You can go criteria A is this total, criteria B is this, criteria C is this, criteria D is this. So if it is out of 8, 5, 10, 5, 10, 14, 18. So if I have 18 out of 32, what will be the final grade? I think it will be a 4 or a 5, I'm not sure. 19 is 5, right? You'll have to look at the MYP principles into practice to see the grade boundary. Do you have the grade boundary? Let me check if I have for the. Give me a minute. Okay. All right. So let me share with you my screen with the 4 criteria. Okay, now can you see the 4 criteria? Criteria A, using knowledge. Criteria B, inquiring and designing. Criteria C, processing, evaluating. Criteria D. So I have taken 2 tests. This is for the first semester. Okay. In one test, this student has got a 4 and 4. So that's why my best fit grade is a 4. The 2 labs, student has got a 5 and a 6. My best fit I have given a 6. For criteria C, I have done 3 tasks, so I have given a 5. Criteria D, I have done 3 tasks, so I have given a 5. So this is from July to December, okay? And then I put these 4 final grades over here for criteria, the best fit approach, and then I did a total. And after I did a total, this is my grade boundary. So 18, I said 4 or 5 enough, it's 4, 18 in the previous example. So here students have got 20, 27, so I have put the MYP grade. Okay. Now, because I have assessed all strands, all criteria twice, all strands, okay? It's not like I've just assessed strand 1 and strand 5. It's not like that. I have assessed all strands, all criteria twice. So therefore, I'm able to give this MYP grade out of 7. You cannot give this final grade out of 7 if you have just addressed only a few strands in the first semester. So, very important. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Okay. So, this is the first semester record. Then the second semester record, if I have to show you for sciences. Okay. Now see what I have done. I have added the first semester grade. Okay, this was there in the first semester, right? And these are the assessments that I took in the second semester. Okay. These are the things I took in second semester. And then looking at the whole grade of the year, this is the final grade. Now, this final grade is for the whole year. Okay, it is not for the second semester. Second semester is only this. But when I'm giving the May report card, it is for the whole year. So that's why I'm looking at the whole grade and then I'm giving a final grade. Okay? All right. So my question to you is, how do you grade in your school? Do you give grades, achievement levels out of 7 at the end of your first semester? And if you do you assess all strands of all criteria twice and then give an achievement level? If you don't, then you are doing it wrong. You have to take the achievement level only at the end of the year when all your strands and all the criteria are assessed at least twice.
So what if we don't do all the tasks?
All the strands?
Yeah,
in
strands
the
for
first
the term.
semester, then it should be there in your assessment, what is that, policy. Okay, your assessment policy should be clear. It should say that in the first semester, if you don't see an MYP achievement level, it means that all assessment strands were not assessed twice. So this, when does it happen, you know? It happens with design, it happens with PE, and sometimes with humanities it is difficult because humanities has criteria B and criteria BCD, where B they have to do a research report. So it has to be elaborate. So they don't finish those big reports, you know, they are not able to do 2 big reports in one semester. So then your assessment policy should say so in reporting. How do you report? Clear? Because in the guide, what does it say? It says that for giving a final grade, the requirement is that all strands of all criteria have to be assessed twice. So that is for the year, right? Not for the semester. Any questions? Because understanding this is very important. Some people don't understand and then they report wrong.
Ma'am, good evening.
Good evening.
So if semester just once we have done all the criterias and all the strand, how will the achievement level look? We won't mention that. How will the report look?
You cannot. For if it is criteria A that you have not, then it will be not assessed. It is not
So how will the
assessed
report
twice.
look with all the criterias, all the strands done once?
Report will have only the grades out of 8. It will not have an achievement level.
Okay.
So achievement level is only on the top, right? Where you have to say how much out of this. But if you have not assessed all strands, then you cannot give an achievement level.
All right. And what if we choose to give the semester exam as based on a assessment, like with marks? Can we convert it into?
It is fine, but you should have a, see again, my same question was that only, my explanation to who was there before, the first person, Manisha. The explanation to Manisha was that, are you going to assess all the strands and all criteria in that e-assessment type of paper?
No.
No.
During one phase, we are assessing only 2 criteria at max.
So then you should have a rubric. Though you say that it is marks, you should have a rubric, right? So grade it according to rubric. Don't give marks.
Okay, and then final grade is put in the report. Yes, no, ma'am, without achievement level.
Yes. So your December assessment will be one of the assessments of the 4 criteria. So if you see over here, if you see my this task, can you see May exam here? So I had taken only criteria A as May exam. So that's why I have put here. Hai na? It's not
Okay.
where any. I have not given these questions. I have only assessed criteria A. So I have to put it over here, whatever grade they have put. Yeah? Same way, December, I don't think I have given grades. Here I have not taken any assessments.
And you've taken a FA marks also, right, ma'am?
This was not a formative assessment actually. This was a summative assessment. You should not take FA formative assessments in
For
the
any
grading.
semester exam grading. Yeah,
No, because formative assessments are assessment for learning. Yeah, it should not come on the grading sheet. But you can keep a separate sheet where you can put all those marks. It will help you to give the best fit grade. So suppose a student has got a 2 in one assessment, in one summative assessment, okay? And a student has got a 7 in another summative assessment. Now what are you going to give? You would have given him certain summative, certain formative assessments, right, for that criteria. And in those formative, maybe the student has got a 5 and a 6 and a 5 and a 6 and not a 2. So that means most of the time the student is working at level 5 and 6, right?
Yeah.
So maybe I would give a 5. So that judgment to give neither a 2 nor a 7, but a 5 is because I have evidence of formative, right?
Yeah, true.
Okay?
So we didn't mention that in the report, right? We just
No, but then see, it is best judgment. What does best fit say that? It is your professional judgment as a teacher, right? Now,
yes.
how do you judge without evidence? So your evidence would be your formatives, right?
Yes.
And not all formatives have to be graded. See, people are giving formative assessments and also grading it, and formative assessments are assessment for learning. It is for the teachers, okay, not for the students. It is for the teachers to find out how much your student know, or what is the gap between the knowledge in your students, amongst your students. Okay, does everybody understand the same thing? Clear?
True. Yeah.
So
we do
formative
it in this
assessment
order.
is not, you do it, it's not an issue, but you cannot take it as a grade, right? Because at that time you are giving feedback. And when is the actual grade on the report card? When the student does it, the work on his or her own, under conditions, exam conditions. Right? Those are summatives, right? Where you are not helping them. It is their work. Assessment of learning.
Yes, ma'am.
Clear?
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks.
Any other question?
Ma'am, I have one question, but that is with respect to ATL skills.
Bolo.
Actually, like if we have chosen criteria for our particular unit, let me say I have chemical reaction, so I have chosen criteria B and C.
Okay.
So after that, I will choose the ATL skills accordingly. Like I will go for research and accordingly, and under research, I can take up the cluster of interpretation of the data, collecting data, verifying data. Am I on the right line?
Yes.
I just want to know.
Yeah, but have you thought about what are the skills? See, your final assessment, okay, the summative assessment,
Yes.
okay, the summative assessment has to triangulate with your ATL skills and with your
Criteria.
statement of inquiry.
Inquiry. Yes,
Okay,
yes,
they
yes,
have to
yes,
triangulate. Okay,
yes.
your final, your summative assessment has to have some relationship with your statement of inquiry.
Yeah,
Okay,
yes,
and in order to do the summative assessment, suppose you are saying the summative assessment is a lab.
yes,
Okay, so lab is criteria A and criteria B and criteria C.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, now in that lab, what is the main purpose? What are they supposed to do? What are they supposed to learn? Or whoa, what are you going to test?
I'm going to test their critical thinking skills, in which
Uh,
they are going to collect and interpret the data, and finally they are going to conclude their hypothesis. So whatever is their learning process. So
अच्छा,
in
ठीक
that
है.
essay, I am going to culminate all this their learning engagements.
So
All.
what summative assessment do you think that what ATL skills do you think that the student should know?
Here, ATL skill under thinking, I think so. It will be critical thinking.
हाँ.
And for under research, it will be information and literacy skills.
Okay.
So under information and literacy skills, it will be collect, record, process, verify data, and report the results.
Okay.
For the thinking skills, as I told, I am choosing critical thinking skills. So it will be the interpretation of the data.
Acha. Now, I'm sharing with you one document which I have created. I'll just share the link in the Zoom. Okay. Where is my chat? Okay. Now, you said summative assessment on criteria B and criteria C. Okay?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So now, wait, sorry. Okay. Okay, so suppose if it is physics. I had created a subject specific skills chart where I had put which so what I had done is I had written the assessment objective. Okay. So what is your assessment? What's the assessment objective of MYP 1? MYP Science. I'll teach you how to do it. Assessment criteria. Okay, so if I have the science rubric, and if I have this criteria, so these are all the strands, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'll click here. Click on here. MYP science criteria B strands are as follows. Okay. Create a table with columns having following heading. Strand APL skill, APL sub-skill, strategies,
Let's try. Examples. What if I go down?
APL strategies, APL tools.
Yeah, I have
Okay.
this thing YouTube.
So look here,
Mhm.
when you are having your strand, explain a problem or question. So what ATL skill can be taught?
Okay.
Communication, use of language, and written communication. Okay? Whether they are using those scientific terminologies or not. Yeah?
Yes.
Research formulation of questions. Whether they know how to write a research question. Okay? And if you're going to teach DP में ये है ना, when you write the research question, you have to include the independent variable, dependent variable.
Yes.
Research question. So then how are you going to teach that to your MYP 1, 2, 3 students? Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Then formulating a testable hypothesis. You said, na, critical thinking. Developing
Yes.
a testable hypothesis. And main thing would be, if they are going to say that it is predicted that whatever, blah, 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 then they have to say, give reason also why they are predicting. Hai na?
Yeah.
That is also there in one of those strands when you go from 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 5 to 6, 7 to 8.
Yeah.
Okay. Then explain how to manipulate variables. See, so here your ATL skills are given. What ATL skills? This is for criteria B. Similarly, I can look for criteria C. So I'll say that. Copy. Say ChatGPT. Paste. I will use the same thing. Instead of criteria B, I'll say criteria C.
Okay.
Paste. Criteria C strands. Okay. Then I'll say create a table. Copy. Paste. Lay.
It's my mom.
You will get.
Some.
Can you see? Presenting, collecting, and transform data. You said communication. Do they know how to do data presentation? Do they know how to analyze data? Okay, interpreting data. You told, right? Critical thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, it's given.
Season number 1, no?
Easy.
Number 2.
It's not so difficult.
Okay, upload हो गया.
Yes, ma'am.
150 Mbps.
Yeah, ChatGPT has made our life simple.
खत्म.
Anything else
I can upload.
about
Publish करो.
criteria?
Done.
So I use a lot of ChatGPT as well as Google Bard to do my work. You all know there is an MYP unit plan generator. Do you have any idea?
No.
So let me share that generator with you.
So you want me to upload on YouTube as well? There is a file.
So I'm putting it in that MYP Science announcement.
Upload
the
video,
link.
select file.
So that's an MYP generator. You can see.
Looking at
So let me share my screen.
3 minutes to upload.
This is a generator
इसको क्या डालना है?
that a
वो
person
same
has
add-
created. You write your key concept, write your related concept, your global context,
YouTube वाला description दे दे.
grade level, what you're teaching, and your subject group. Then it will give you. Give me. Do you have any plan that you're working on? Tell me. I can add.
तेरे boss
Key
लोग
concept.
follow करते हैं.
Somebody can give me example of their unit, what you are doing presently.
You are not better, bro.
People, if you are here, you should interact. Otherwise, no point. You're just going to sit over there like a fly on the wall. Nobody's going to learn anything.
Just complete one time verification.
Give me this key concept
One time
of a unit.
verification.
Manisha, you have a unit right now that you're running.
One time verification.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Can you
Change,
share? Okay,
change.
key concept change. Okay. Change. Related concept.
Yeah, I guess.
Interactions and consequences.
Interaction. Consequence. Okay. Global context.
Globalization and sustainability.
Globalization. Yes. Okay. Grade level?
7.
कितना uploaded?
7.
30% already. अच्छा तो देख रही है वैसे.
Okay. It gave you 3 SOIs here. Pick and choose which SOI you want to do.
Yes.
Change in Earth's climate has significant consequences for global biodiversity and the long-term sustainability of ecosystems. The interaction between humans and the environment plays a crucial role in understanding the consequences of globalization and sustainability. The ongoing process of globalization has led to significant changes in economic and social interactions, raising questions about the long-term sustainability of current practices.
We can take second.
Second one. Okay. Submit.
Yeah, you already have some.
The interaction between humans and the environment play a certain crucial role in understanding the consequences of globalization. Certainly, here is the proposed content. You can edit this and change it as you want. Okay. So the content that you are going to teach is the impact of pollution on environment and human health, sustainable energy sources and their benefits, deforestation and its effects on biodiversity and climate change, water scarcity and conservation strategies, role of recycling and waste management in promoting sustainability, the influence of human activities on climate change and global warming.
Yes.
Which one? These all?
Yes.
Or you want to give yours? Then I can copy paste.
Next time,
So we can take otherwise the 6th one, the influence of the human activities on the climate change and global warming.
बस वही एक pick ना from here.
How many, ma'am, maximum we have to choose?
You decide what you want to do, because then this will create your unit plan.
Oh, okay, okay. So we can take one. We can take
One.
third.
Okay, so second one I'm removing.
मैं आज डेट में बोला ना सही
Okay, third.
कान पूरा मैं निकाल लूंगा
Then
Sixth.
we'll take only these three.
Yeah, let us see with this.
Three.
2 minutes 2 minutes मैम हमसे ना हो पाएगा
Or what you can do is you can pick from here and then put in ChatGPT and say that create
Okay.
a
Generate.
unit plan according to the MYP template. Or you
Oh,
can say create learning engagement. You know?
yes, ma'am.
So, ma'am, here will it show the similar plans for others also if we give the same choice?
Yeah,
लोग ज्यादा पूरा अपलोड नहीं
you write, you know? Or there is a place to write your this, right? The different key concept, related concept.
and you like it
Based on that, it will give you.
Okay.
Okay?
No, then it shouldn't look plagiarized or something if it is, looks similar.
So you say, na? Give credit, na?
Ah, okay.
We use this particular generator to create.
All
And
right.
then you use ChatGPT to give you the different activities that you can do.
now submitting Santa ma'am ka
All right.
I'll send you
Yeah. Thank you.
concept of giving me the
Yeah.
mean
So it makes the AI tools make your life easier.
website
The AI tools.
like munition आती
Hi, Shabla.
वही है ना सात
Hello, Ashifa. Good evening.
Hi. Good evening.
Sorry for coming late. My child is unwell, so
Oh, okay. No, I was just going through. We just discussed something about assessment criteria. Then I gave some examples of tasks. Told them how to do, and then we use that unit plan generator, na, to generate the unit. Anything else? Yeah.
I have one question. When we do criterion B and C, B is kind of somewhat easy, while C is it can be both qualitative and quantitative, right?
processing
Mm.
So
Yeah.
it does not mandatorily ask us for data table, graph, and all of that.
मेरा
Should
फोटो
we?
डाला है description
So, if you look at the paper 6 of IGCSE, then you can get questions of criteria C,
Yes.
where
yes,
data is given and then you ask them to interpret.
Yes.
Okay, and ask questions on it. Or otherwise, you can ask ChatGPT also. So create
Yes.
some data table and all, and then create questions based on these strands. So give the strands to it, where
Yeah.
student can analyze data
Yes.
or come to a conclusion.
Yes, definitely. Interpreting information can be taken from that.
Yeah. That is for the e-assessment type of paper. Otherwise, if you are doing MYP 1, 2, 3, it's a good idea to avoid those type of questions. Keep it as samples only for your end of semester exam, so that student get a hang of how to do a paper type of criteria PC. But otherwise, if you are in for verification or if you are in for authorization, evaluation, the team will always ask, do you do the students to design a lab investigation? They'll ask, give examples. So then if you have not done, you will get some recommendations on it.
Okay. We
Been
are in
there,
for
done that. Yeah.
no.
Because
There are a lot.
see, as a PL also, the PL has to go through all those documentations, right? You have to submit. The
Yes.
school has to submit, and the PL goes through those assessment tasks. And if they don't see any evidences of it, then they will ask during your face-to-face meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
For electricity and magnetism, there is this wonderful simulation. So very convenient rather than taking them to the lab, asking him to do the circuits and all of that. I find that simulation to be very helpful. That does that count also as scope for experimentation or
See, I have done it with photosynthesis. Photosynthesis, when you do the one with light and aquatic plant, first of all, it is very difficult to get an aquatic plant here in Mumbai. Okay, I tried so many even aquariums and where they keep pet fishes also. It is very difficult to get those plants. Okay, so then there was this simulation which worked very well earlier when there was
yes,
flash. Now I don't know whether we can work or whether you have those simulations. But at that time, I used to use those simulations for the students to do instead of
there
doing
is
the
one
actual
with
experiment.
Amrita. There is one simulation with
Ah,
Amrita.
yeah, yeah,
That is
yeah.
cool.
Vidya something, no? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I've used that also. But the other one, Flash one, was really good. But now you can't use
Flash
it because
is
Flash is gone.
again.
Yeah. Yes. Anything else? Otherwise, I think we are done with 1 hour.
Hi, Madhvi.
Madhvi, are you there?
Yes, she's unmuted herself.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi,
Now you
Madhvi.
can. Hi, Shamla.
How
How are
much?
you?
How much have you learned, Madhvi?
I was absorbing.
Ah. Yeah. Okay. So if you don't have any further questions, or if you have questions, put it on the group. We'll be happy to answer. Yeah. Now the next thing that was there, other than assessment, I think it was on supporting students in developing ATL skills. Okay. So next meeting we'll talk about ATL skills.
Sure.
Okay then. Thank you, people. Yeah,
Thank
Ranjita,
you.
you have
Thanks a lot.
question. You raised your hand. I just saw.
Pratika. It's after very long that I'm attending your session.
Yeah.
Miss Achika with criteria D. Okay. Apart from having a debate and asking them to write an essay, okay, I have also asked them to prepare, an information, a booklet. Okay, what else can we, do?
Oh.
Because when we have to cover all the four strands, the citation part and the citation part is missed while we are taking the formative. So how can we, make it more creative rather than just asking them for an essay? When we have to do a formative, when we have to do a summative, and then in exam, because supposing I am taking at the moment, or maybe the first semester, what happened? I had a fat diet. I took a criteria D on fat diet for grade 7 on healthy lifestyle. That was my topic. So I did a debate and then I asked them to do the research essay. Okay, giving them certain questions. And then in exam also I had the same thing, because I was told, for whatever topic you have taken, whichever criteria you have assessed, you are supposed to take that only for your summative. So I was kind of restricted. Ki isme there was scope of, this topic for criteria D. So what else can I do? Okay, and I also learned this semester, this time when I was doing the assessment, to include the video link, because we did it online this time. So include the video link, then put the transcript, okay, or put a small paragraph or newspaper article, and based on that you have your criteria D. What else can I do when I'm doing the online thing?
So usually it is a research report. Okay, research work where the students have to read research articles and then they have to interpret and give their opinion. Okay, what they have to, see, what is the main title of the criteria D? Reflecting on the impact of science. Hai na? So you have to talk about its uses, there has to be some issue or problem and you will have to give them discussion and evaluation of the implications, and that implications can be of the following. It can be social implications, it can be economical implications, it can be ethical implications. So there are 5 different types of implications. Do you have the MYP guide for criteria D? A booklet like a research guide? Do you
Yeah, our
follow?
normal science guide, yes.
Not only the science guide. Okay?
Then
MYP 1 1 earlier, before 2014, this criteria D was called One World, and it was criteria A. Okay,
One
so if
word.
if you click on this link that I have put on the chat, okay, you will see this, what I'm showing on my screen. Okay, and for this is the different steps that the student have to do. So for criteria D, research is the main purpose, okay, of assessment. So for criteria D, it says, if you look at the MYP descriptor, student state the ways in which science is used to address a specific problem or issue. That is the first strand, that there has to be some issue that you have to address. Second is the implications of using science and its application to solve a specific problem or issue interacting with a factor. Now, when you say interacting with the factor, kya factor? This factor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Social factor, economical factor, political factor, environmental factor, cultural factor, ethical factor. These are the 6 factors. Now you decide in your task, do you want to include all? All to nahi ho sakta hai. If you give all, then your essay will become like pata nahi kitna bada. So then you say that for 7 and 8, you will use 3 factors: social, economical, environmental. You decide. Okay. And for here, it says with interacting with a factor. So maybe you say here they are discussing 3 factors, here they are discussing 3 factors, but then they are just outlining the factor. Here maybe they are stating only 2 factors, and here they are only working with 1 factor. So if you say eating disorder का problem है, तो mostly क्या हो सकता है? Social हो सकता है, because if I'm going to talk about anorexia and this bulimia and all that, which I have done in grade 8 when I was a teacher at Ecole, I said social factor, okay, and then I also looked at cultural.
economical also.
हाँ, तो economical भी. Social mostly because of the fashion industry. People are supposed to be thin, so that's why people want to be thin. So they don't eat. They have all these eating disorders. So this will give you an idea of kitna bada kya karna hai. So the main people who have done in MYP next chapter, this all is lost in the subject guide. And that's why we don't know ki kya karna hai. But main purpose is a research report.
Okay.
That's why that 4th strand, na? Document sources.
Document sources.
When you're going to research, then only you will have sources, right?
Yeah.
So you are supposed to give a research report.
Yeah, like in online when I did cite the resources. I was only checking if the student is able to do MLA citation.
Or you can ignore this when you're doing the on-screen examination.
Okay.
So that's why you cannot have the e-assessment type of paper as one of this. It could be the 3rd assessment that you're giving, because if you have to give achievement level out of 7, you have to address all criteria twice, right? So you should be giving a research report twice, research report or a debate, where they can document sources 2 times. Are you getting me?
Yeah, got it.
Okay, so this is good. This is a good document. Good, excellent document. I used to refer to this only. So that's why like यहाँ पे one word लिखा है, because it is
Mhm.
before. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right then.
One last question. Can
हाँ
I?
पूछो. Yeah.
Ma'am,
Please.
if the student is absent in one of the assessment, let us say a summative assessment, so what should we do? Like how to award achievement level?
But why? Why absent? Because he's sick or what? कि मैं छुट्टी गया. Vacation में ले रहा हूँ. I'll just go one day early. I'll not
Nee,
turn up.
like maybe some hypothetical situation if it is, because
So
now
that's
you told
why. So that's why you have to put it in your assessment policy. What are you going to do?
okay,
Are you going to use your formative assessment to give a judgment if the child was absent? Or you're going to say that 0, or not
okay,
assessed, absent because of sick. So whatever grade he has got in that one assessment, that grade will be given.
okay.
So
So
it depends on your policy. If this is the
okay,
case, that's why your policies have to be very clear, assessment policy.
okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
All right then. Bye bye. Good night. We will have
Bye.
another
Thank you so
meeting
much.
some
Thank
other
you.
time. Yeah. Bye bye.
Have you taken the picture?
No, but I've taken the recording, so I can take a